What is up, guys? Bulldog here, and today I'm gonna show you stuff. I'm gonna tell you like about how I got into wrestling and like what's happened ever since. So I remember the first time I got into wrestling, and I also remember the first match, which is also really cool, which I think I've said in a previous video of what the first match I saw. But so I was playing. So here's how I became into wrestling. It's not like an epic. It's not like an epic thing like lasers and like fighting and all that stuff like a movie would have. But so here's how I became into wrestling. And so I was like, so this was way back in 2007. Only 2 years into YouTube. And so I was really young. I'm gonna think of how young I was. I was 5. Yeah, I was 5. And so I was playing with, and back then I really loved cars. So like I was a cars guy for like my whole life. And I still sort of am, sort of. And so I would so I was playing like the legendary match, like sort of, I think it's legendary. I don't know, like of from the movie Cars, Lightning McQueen versus Chick versus Danico. And so while I was doing the race, I heard my stepbrother Colin. He's not actually my stepbrother, but me and him were very close, and so I prefer to call him my stepbrother. And so he called my name, and so I went over to him, and so I saw him crossing. I saw him with his legs crossed like this. And so I saw 2 wrestlers on each side. And I actually have 2 of the wrestlers from that time. And that is, actually no, Triple H is the only guy who survived. I actually got Big Show from, I think, either Alberto Del Rio or Brock Lesnar, but I don't know. Yeah, I got him from Alberto Del Rio. And so I remember exactly who I saw. Yeah, Triple H and Mr. Kennedy were there. So I remember I think the 4 wrestlers that were there were Undertaker, Mr. Kennedy, Batista, and Triple H. And by the way, there's gonna be some stuff in the background just to tell you. And so I don't remember the match, but after that, I just started getting into wrestling a little bit, watched my stepbrother Colin play with his wrestlers. And so some of the wrestlers that I have right here are the wrestlers that he had. Actually, I'm gonna put Big Show back because he's actually not a wrestler who Colin had. And so I remember my first 3 wrestlers. And so my first one was Paul Burchill. And he's not really a well-known wrestler, and same as Katie Leah Burchill. They're not very well-known superstars. I don't really know them at all. But they were my first ones, and also I got Bobby Lashley and JBL. Also, I got a guy from like a band from named Axel. Oh yeah, Axel and Stone Cold Steve Austin. I remember that. Yeah, I got those 3. I got Paul Burchill, JBL, and Bobby Lashley for my birthday. Then I started to get some more wrestlers. The wrestlers that I would have, the wrestlers that they would have, that there was, but this time they were like this. They were like this. Like they didn't really move a lot. They weren't elite. There weren't a lot of good really stuff. And so I would have like a John Cena, Undertaker, Batista, Matt Hardy, JBL, Paul Burchill, Katie Leah Burchill. Yeah, so I had 7 wrestlers at the time. That's the wrestlers that I remember. And so, at that time, Bobby Lashley and JBL were like the best tag team ever. But during that time period, a lot of my wrestlers are broken. And so my Paul Burchill, he survived a very long time. He survived for 4 years, and some of the wrestlers didn't even survive a long time. I remember having a badass Undertaker, and he only survived a day. He didn't even survive a day! Somehow when I'm playing with the Badass Undertaker, I wake up, I go downstairs to play with him, and bam, he has only one leg. I have no idea how that works. But so I had like some wrestlers, and then this moment really kind of sucked. So it was the Big Show who did this. So I was doing like a battle of like all my wrestlers was Paul Burchill, and so while I was in the battle, I said, "Wow, I can't believe that Paul Burchill has outgone superstars that I've already broken because he was my first ever wrestler." And then what happens after that? His arm breaks off. His arm breaks off. Seriously, right after I said that, right after I said he's not gonna break. God hates me, and then he breaks my wrestler's arm. I had him for a couple more years, and then I think I threw him away. I have no idea what happened to my Sheamus, though. Sheamus or R-Truth. I forget what happened with those two wrestlers. I remember, and so, that was like what happened. That was like events from like 2007 to 2010. And then, so 2010 to now. I remember in like 2011, 2012, I had like a wrestling dictionary and the WWE title dictionary. And so I started to figure out, I started learning, it was like 2011, 2012 were like probably the best years of the WWE to me. And also it was the year that those 2 years was the years that I learned the most about. And so I learned like a bunch of wrestlers, and so I also got like a WWE World Heavyweight Champion. I got a World Heavyweight Championship DVD, which showed me like the past of the World Heavyweight Championship that I didn't even know of. I thought the world title was like ever since 2002, which it actually was for the WWE. But then for the WCW and the NWA, that went back up until like 1898. So it's been a century, a good old century, and a little bit more for the World Heavyweight Championship. Get out of here, Moose. Get out of here. You're not supposed to be in here. So that's sort of my journey up to now. I love to buy wrestlers, and I'm not really that much of a collector compared to a lot of people that I've seen on YouTube, because a lot of people have like 500 wrestlers, and yeah, I only have 50. Seriously, I bet my wrestling collection is like a puny one, like a basic collection that they started out. Like, I bet they buy one. I bet collectors, since they spend their life collecting wrestlers, I bet they get like 4 wrestlers per day, or at least like 2, because like with the one called Grimm's Toy Show, he has like a huge toy show. He has like a huge toy room of them. Like that's unbelievable. I see like Transform. Like there's just an unbelievable amount of wrestlers that guy has. And also I forget his name, but he keeps on commenting on my videos like dope, cool, awesome. I forget his name. Yeah, and so that's my journey up to now. I know I didn't say like everything from like 2010 to now, but mainly the stuff that I started out with was like 2007 to 2010. And so thank you for watching, and if you like the content of my channel, please subscribe, like below, and if you dislike the video, please tell me what I can do better in the next video or in the future. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.